Welcome to Accidental Experts.
I'm Dani.
And I'm Tay.
And
we want to clarify that I am Tay. I have pink hair.
She's the weirdo with the pink hair, and then I'm the weirdo with ribbons in my hair all the time.
And for some reason, people constantly confuse us, even though you're half Mexican, I'm half Japanese. Like, why?
People comment
I think we look different
on Tay's videos saying, Dani, you look so good today. And we're like, it says Tay beep boop on her username.
I guess we've become one. That's what's happened.
I feel like people think, we're just like the same person online, I guess.
We're melding. Okay, but so this is Accidental Experts, and can we just address where the hell we're sitting right now?
We're currently inside a cage, like a huge black cage.
It's a bit spooky.
It's a little dark. It's a little spooky in here. There's like a massive
like hamster water bottle behind
like
us.
It's not a water bottle. It's like the ones that hang off of a cage when you know, like the ones that you put for your hamster.
I think if we touch this, water comes out because it's dripping.
You're lying.
Look. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's literally being filled up as we speak. Like
so if you guys hear dripping water, that is why. That's the dripping water behind us.
So
we are here because we are about to hang out with two professional escape room designers.
Well, and not only do they do escape rooms, but they do immersive experiences. They have tabletop games. They are just the coolest women in the world.
They have the coolest jobs in the world. They're toy inventors.
Which is actually kind of cool because your boyfriend's a toy inventor.
I know.
And I feel like it's such a rare industry. Like, you don't really hear about many people.
I've never met one before, and now we're about to meet two more.
Yeah. I mean, Andrew, your boyfriend, was the first person I ever met. Like, that I ever even, like, discovered.
Heard of.
I mean, I knew it was the thing because obviously games need to be made.
They exist.
They exist, but I never really knew who was making them. And Andrew is one, and now we are going to be hanging out with two super cool women who create all these amazing ways to play.
And they're creative partners as well. So we're about to meet with Wild Optimists. The creatives behind that are Juliana and Ariel. And I just cannot wait. I can't believe this location. This is the most insane location we're probably ever going to shoot in.
I'm so excited to talk with these two amazing women. And I mean, like, what are your thoughts? Like, what do you want to learn about them?
I want to know how the hell they got here. Like, how did they become this?
Same.
And we're about to find out.
Let's go. Let's set the scene really quick. We're sitting inside a huge cage right now with a massive, I would say, hamster
water bottle. We are in one of the world's best escape rooms right now. And I don't know how we ended up here. We're so lucky.
This is really
insane.
Cool. Yeah, so it's actually called Hatch Escapes, and this is amazing.
And it's very fitting that we're in an escape room right now because we are interviewing the geniuses behind Wild Optimists. We're here with Juliana and Ariel, and they are professional escape room designers, which is so up our alley because Dani and I are professional designers.
Yeah.
And we want to know how the hell you got the coolest jobs in the world. You design toys and escape rooms. And aside from that, you also create installations in music festivals and Universal Studios. Like, this is all so impressive.
It feels like a made-up career for sure. When I introduce myself and I say, like, oh yeah, this is what I do. It's like I just made up a job and somehow we've convinced people that, like, yeah, this is a job.
What is your official title that you just said?
We are creators of fun. That is what is on our business cards.
So
I love
true.
that.
So we want to know, I guess from the start, we want to explain these things from, imagine people have never heard of Kickstarter. So they don't know what Kickstarter is. You guys had a massively successful start from your very first game that you invented on there. Can you tell us about that process and what makes a successful Kickstarter? Like, what is the barometer for that?
Sure. I mean, this started with our love of escape rooms. Really, my love of escape rooms. I had like my A team that I would always go to escape rooms with and play
I
all
was not
these
on the A
games.
team.
No.
But now you design them.
She was not originally on the A team, but occasionally when people couldn't make it, she would like show up, and I was like, "Oh, you know what though? This girl's really good, and I'm super competitive." So I was like, "All right, fine. You can come and be on the team."
I pushed out her better friends.
No.
Because she would win more when I was there.
Oh my, it'd be so fun to do an escape room with them.
Can you
guys
imagine?
Would be, I mean, we would be horrible. We would just be
No.
screaming.
I'm not good at escape rooms.
Escape rooms is a skill that you get better at. It is not a question of how smart you are. It's really the more you do, the better you will get at them, for sure.
Yeah.
There's like a language of escape rooms where you start to know, like, oh, this will probably connect to this and we'll do this over here. Like, that's what makes you better at escape rooms.
I actually am someone who's never been to one, so this might be useful for others who have never been to one either. Is it like solving a murder mystery?
It's all different now.
Yeah, there's all different stories. So sometimes you're trying to rob a bank. Sometimes you're trying to escape from a psycho killer's basement.
Oh.
Sometimes you're trying to find a unicorn's lost horn. Sometimes, like Hatch Escapes that we're in right now, that was designed by the brilliant Terry and Tommy, you are a human who has your mouse overlords running you through experiments.
The giant mouse. Yeah.
We love that.
Overlords.
Oh, rat. Yes, it is lab rat.
No, here's the thing. Escape rooms have ended up with the name of escape rooms because of all kinds of very boring history. But what it really is getting to be the hero of whatever your favorite movie is. So you just find the themes, the genres that you like to watch on screen, and you're like, oh, what if I got to be the hero? And you find the escape room that has that theme, and then you get to go and be the hero.
So we started doing a bunch of escape rooms together. And then also we're huge board game nerds, like love having game night, tons of people. And we realized that there was no at-home escape room that you could just like buy and have your friends over for a game night to do an escape room.
Right. So we thought, well, okay, let's make one.
Casual. Let's just do it ourselves.
It's just too good of an idea. We were like, this needs to be in the world. I can't believe it's not in the world yet.
I mean, clearly great idea because you had like an amazingly successful campaign.
Right. Well, that was the thing. There just wasn't there. It didn't exist at the time, and because we tried to buy it, and we also wanted. Look, at first, this was going to be for our friends and family, and then we looked at sort of how to buy things in an economical way, and the only way to do that was in bulk. So we were like, okay, well, we'll put it on Kickstarter, but we still thought mostly this is going to be for our friends and family, and that was where we set the bar for success. And then we put it on and we sent it out, but we are quite perfectionists and we like doing our research. And so we did all the research on like, how do you run the best Kickstarter? And there's a lot of tips that you can find online. Jamie Stegmeyer has an amazing blog. Who's the other one?
Oh, James Matthey, rest in peace. He's another, like, the games industry is full of fantastic people who are like, yes, we want you to succeed. We want you to make excellent games. We want you to do well. So they really are so giving of their time and energy and advice.
I imagine it's sort of a small knit community.
It is, yeah.
And incredibly nice people.
Yeah.
So we did all the research. We did all the things, right? We reached out to all these reviewers. We were like, will you please review our escape room in a box? We had a bunch of them say, escape rooms cannot be played from a box. They cannot be on your table. That is not going to be a good game. But a few of them agreed still to play, and they were some of our biggest supporters. David and Lisa Spira, who run Room Escape Artists, which is now one of the biggest blogs if you were looking up escape rooms. These people, and now, of course, it's a whole industry. So we put it up, and with all of these good reviews, and we funded, in 14 hours?
Yeah, it funded so fast. And it was 100% because, I mean, obviously, like, we worked very hard for it, but the fact that these reviewers were willing to, like, get the game and then they loved it so much. Like Joel Eddy from Drive Through Review, he posted on Reddit, and we were like #1 on Reddit board games when we were launching.
Viral.
Dream.
Yeah, it was such a dream. So they all brought their communities to the Kickstarter. And then as it gets more and more momentum, Kickstarter starts picking it up. And then also Alon Lee from Exploding Kittens was one of our first backers. He's like a huge Kickstarter guy. He buys everything on Kickstarter.
What does that mean? So you're fully funded in 14 hours? And then after that, you just continue to grow funding.
Yeah. So by the end, we reached almost 7 times our funding.
Oh my
goals.
gosh.
And so can anyone join Kickstarter and just post anything? How does that work?
Yes. I mean, the simple answer is yes, but you probably won't fund. So the way Kickstarter works is you have a product, you make, a video for it, and you make a little page, and you say, please give me X amount of money. And if I reach X amount of money, this will be made. And if I don't reach that amount of money, you get your money back and it's not made. If you get that money, you're not actually obligated. I mean, you could just go to Vegas.
Oh my God.
But that wouldn't be a good thing to do.
That would be bad.
That would be bad.
I didn't know that people could just run away with the money.
They absolutely can.
And they have.
And they have. Yeah,
Oh
this is something
my
that has
God.
happened. Or, sadly, there's also been, we've backed all these campaigns. There have been times when like somebody's been really trying to make a game and then like the warehouse burns down.
Oh my God.
And so
And also just with COVID and the global shipping crisis, like shipping costs have, tripled or quadrupled. So there's a lot of people who ran successful Kickstarter campaigns. They got the money they were looking for, but then the cost of actually like making and shipping the game is now so much more than it ever was. And they're like trying to get all this funding from other places to fulfill the Kickstarter.
So it sounds like there's so much room for things to go wrong and a lot went right. And you guys like intended to create this for your friends and family and then accidentally ended up with an entire empire.
Which is amazing. I mean, Tay and I are super passionate about accidentally falling into a career, which is what happened to us in the decorating
Just
industry.
from passion. We went from passion to like, oh, now we're experts at this and people try to hire us for this.
Yeah,
Like,
this was a thing where it never even occurred to me that like the games that you play, because I was such a passionate gamer, and it never occurred to me that like, authors write books. I hadn't thought through like someone came up with this game and designed how it's going to go. And I'm just so thrilled that this has become what we do.
So is there like a specific license you need to make a game, or do you need to have like a certificate from school or something like that?
no.
Not
You just need the gumption and the will.
Yeah. And this is what I'll say. You need to make sure it's fun. And that's something that we wanted to make sure it was good, and we did all the reading, and it's called play testing. So when we had we made the game, and remember we play tested it the first time and it took 3 hours and everyone hated us. And we were like,
They kept wanting to stop, and we were like, but we just need to see how it ends. You can't stop. Like, we're in the cage right now. We were like, no, you keep going.
And so we just kept playtesting. And I remember there were all these nights where Juliana would go and playtest with one group and I'd go playtest with another. And then we would call each other afterwards. And we just kept going and playtesting until we had a game that most people were having fun playing. And that's what we still do.
Yeah, it's very much, I think games, if anyone out there is looking to make a game, Alon Lee has the expression fail fast. So as soon as you have the idea for the game, like put it together, make it a game, like on, if you have to like cross out on a deck of cards and put your own things or whatever it is, make the game and start playing the game. And then you'll really see like when are people's eyes lighting up? When are they having a great time? And when do they want to kill you? and change the game accordingly to make a game that people will actually really love and enjoy playing.
Yeah, I mean, trial and error. And so, like, how many times do you guys think with your first Kickstarter game it took to, like, keep going? And how many times do you think you failed, but, like, did it again?
Yeah,
And
until you ended up with
a lot,
the success. Yeah.
Yeah.
We play tested so much.
It was so
I don't even remember. It
much.
was we're both moms, and for any other parents out there, like the first 3 months when you have a kid, like you just don't sleep, and so you don't really remember your child's first 3 months. That's sort of how I feel.
This is your child.
Yeah. Like that's how I feel about the beginning of this process and the play testing process. But we met so many people. Once we put it on Kickstarter, look, our original plan was to have our friends put it together in my garage with, and pay them in pizza and beer because we're in LA and, we have a lot of friends who are actors and this is a thing you can do here. And so then we sold 3,000 about.
There's not enough pizza and beer for our friends.
No, not even close. So we had to, manufacture in China and we just learned all of this stuff. And I would say, so one of the people who backed our Kickstarter was Brian Yu at Mattel. And this is how we ended up licensing the game to Mattel. And we now have 5 in the line from Mattel, something like that.
That's amazing.
That's so
Congrats, by
awesome.
the way.
And yeah, thank you. And he, when Mattel went to manufacture it, they said that this was the hardest game that they'd ever manufactured, which made us feel really good because it was our first game to manufacture.
Honestly, I will say, like, part of being an accidental expert, like, soon after our game came out, other at-home escape room games came out from traditional game designers. And they were... Hasbro doesn't have one, but Spin has one. Asmodee has one.
Think Fun.
Think Fun. But they were all paper. And it's because game designers know when you're manufacturing, it's cheaper and easier to just do paper. Whereas the two of us, as just like passionate gamers and escape roomers, we're like, well, there need to be actual locks because it's so satisfying when you like click open a lock, and there need to be surprises and tangible physical things. And so because we didn't know the games
the
industry,
lack of experience in it created, you had better ideas that hadn't been thought of before.
It was pure from passion. And so it made it a nightmare to manufacture. But many people were like, this is the most escape room like of all the at-home games. This is the one that feels the most like being in an escape room. And it's because it came out of our not knowing any better and just being passionate escape room players and board game players.
I love that you mentioned that because Tay and I really talk about how since we never went to school for design and we're decorating, we don't have any rules. There's just like no
we don't know what we
rules.
can't do.
Yeah. So that's what you guys did, and that's the reason why you guys became so successful.
Absolutely. I think not knowing any better was a
That is
huge
such
factor.
a cool tie-in because the naivete is like actually beneficial because you're not thinking like everyone else who's already been in the space.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that there's locks inside this little box?
Yeah, there's
crazy.
multiple locks. And the locks that Mattel made, because so our first run of the game, the first 3,000 that we manufactured, we just sourced everything from other factories. You can just buy a lock. But Mattel models everything out of plastic and makes all their own little mechanisms. So they made a lock that literally like springs open, and it is so satisfying in all of the Mattel games.
That's so cool.
I have to just gush over my boyfriend. He is a toy inventor. And so he works for Mattel and he does things for Barbie.
Such a flex.
And
Casual
it's like,
flex.
I'm dating the coolest person in the world. But that's exactly how your partners talk about you. It's very impressive to be dating a toy inventor, toy designer, coolest brains. I can speak from experience. And it's so interesting because I do play tests with him. I help him test out his games, and his background is industrial designer. That's what he studied in. And so he creates those lock mechanisms. He figures out how to make them do exactly that. And so people ask all the time how he got into it, and his is industrial design. So how did you two get into this aside from just love of escape rooms?
I mean, we both have a background in writing and narrative. So I was focusing on being a writer more on the TV side, and Juliana was focusing on being a writer more on the movie side in Hollywood. And then we both had kids. And so we were at home being moms and writing. And as Juliana said, we came up with this idea. And I was, when we came up with this idea and we made the Kickstarter, I was still out there and pitching and really working on getting to the next point of my writing career. And then this was like a speeding train. And at some point I was just like, okay, I'm doing my writing for games now.
Wow.
But it has come full circle. We are now pitching a number of TV shows. My manager, who's now our manager, like pivoted with us and is incredible. She has just set us up with, she was like, okay, I'll still set you up with writing meetings sometimes. And she's still passionate about some of my projects, which is lovely. But she's also like, I'm going to set you up with Hasbro. You should talk to them about, about creating location-based entertainment things for them or whatever it is.
Yeah, whoever she's talking to, if anyone's doing any sort of like immersive experience or anything that could be gamified in any way, she's always like, I have the people that you have to meet with, and just has
well
us
connected
chat with them. Yeah,
I would not have guessed from writing to escape room designing.
Me neither, which is really interesting. I was going to ask, so since you mentioned you write, do you also write as well, or what is your background, or is it
my background is in writing as well? Yeah, so I have a degree in theater, so I was acting and writing. And
did you meet in school?
No.
Although we were close. Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, this is actually really funny. Okay, so Juliana went to Brown and I went to Vassar. And my best friend at Vassar was a woman named Catherine, who's incredible. And is this okay to say? Okay. Then I came out here and I met Juliana and we became best friends. And then I found out that they had the same ex-boyfriend.
Oh,
The tea.
Yeah, which I was just like, and this was a guy who had gone to Vassar. I was like, I really should have been better friends with this guy. We have the same taste.
and
Humans. Yeah.
He's a quality man. I think
that.
both Catherine and I will be like, yeah, good guy.
That's so sweet of you to say, because I have exes where I'm like, I fucking hate him.
Oh, yeah.
Don't talk to
this
him.
is not that.
Okay, good guy, good guy.
Yeah.
It's healthy. It's healthy.
And I've now met Catherine through Ariel. We went and we were consulting on a television show in New York, which is where Catherine lives. And so she was like, you have to meet her. And she's a lovely human being. Yeah.
Good humans.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you met in college and then
Oh, sorry.
No. We met out here.
Oh,
We
okay.
met because I have a friend from high school who knew Juliana from acting class in LA. And when we were both super pregnant, he was like, you two are the most competitive women that I know. You're both very pregnant and moody. I think that you should both play Werewolf together, which for anyone who doesn't know is a game where you go and accuse each other of lying a lot.
Yeah, he is a chaos maker, so he just wanted to see
Too
like
competitive,
an epic,
emotional.
yeah, battle royale of the insane gamer women pregnant going after each other. But it totally worked out. And now he's like, I knew you both were looking for that next step, and we're like, no, dude, you just wanted to see like a battle royale.
Wait, I'm obsessed with this. So you guys were pregnant at the same time.
Yeah.
So how
That's
old
so
are your
cute.
kids right now?
So I have an 11 and an 8-year-old.
And I have 9, but just turned
turned,
9
yeah.
this week, and a 5-year-old.
So do they play games with you? Have they played the game before?
So it's hilarious because, of course, I am like the biggest nerdy gamer. I'm always like, let's play a board game. And sometimes my oldest will indulge me and play along, but mostly he's like a sports ball kid, which I was never a sports ball kid. He is all about it. So I'm like getting better at basketball and football now.
Oh my God.
And then my youngest is so sensitive that he doesn't like the idea of anyone losing. Even if it's a cooperative game and we all win or lose together, he's just like, he doesn't want anyone to lose the game.
A sweet
Like
angel.
I love him.
he changes. There's games that we played that are like competitive games where you're supposed to like attack each other. And he was like, but what if I just like give you all these good things? And I'm like, okay,
And
then
you're
I guess I'll give you all the good. And it's like a race to make each other win the game.
Oh my God. You're like, actually, no. This is how I designed the game.
I know my competitive spirit is like, okay, you're a good human. That's very nice. But like,
There's no market for this.
Yeah, I want to win.
And so, well, we've talked about your tabletop games, but we also know that you guys do immersive experiences. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Our producers are waving at us to take a quick little break.
Okay.
But that's
Okay,
actually
well-
a good cliffhanger because we want to know about the immersive experiences you've done for theme parks and music festivals after this.
Amazing. Let's go pee. So now we're back. And we were talking about how you guys have made a bunch of, I wouldn't say board games because they're not boring, but it makes me so sad saying board games. But you guys also do immersive experiences, which is really, really cool. And I want to get to know more about that because I honestly have no idea what that even implies. But also, Tay and I design spaces and we've been professionally decorating spaces for, like some time now together.
Yeah. So it's interesting dynamic of working creatively with a partner. And we're interested in how you guys navigate that and also just more about how you design immersive experiences as a whole.
Do you decorate the spaces? Like, do you choose like what color the wall is or like what chair goes in the experience?
So we do the design of the experience in terms of what is the story that people are going to be getting across, what are the puzzles, what are they going to be interacting with. But in terms of the actual like making the space, we defer to experts like yourselves.
Ooh, we can collab.
So we will, we'll send over like detailed instructions for like if the wall as part of a puzzle needs to have like 5 shelves, we'll like give a terrible sketch of what it needs to be. But the rest of it, we leave to experts. And then we come back in sometimes and we're like, oh, this is so beautiful, but people think it's a part of the puzzle because you like put this here. So sometimes we will have to like alter it a little bit based on the work that the artist has done. But we try to let the artists do their art.
So what are some of the immersive experiences you've done before?
So we just finished consulting. This is very exciting for us. We just finished consulting for Universal Studios. They have a new set of escape rooms in Orlando called The Great Movie Escape. And they have Back to the Future and they have Jurassic World.
I need to go. Yeah. I live in Miami.
Yeah. Oh my, wait.
We need to go.
Yeah, next month. I'm going to be visiting her. We can go.
They're really fun. And this is, I think, a perfect example where we got to come in and we got to help with gameplay and interactions and we got to play test and all of that fun stuff. And then because they're Universal, they did all of the decoration and all of the props, and it looks incredible. It really, especially for Back to the Future, because that's like my fandom, you get to walk through and you feel like you're at the dance. You feel like you're at all of the different spaces, and it's awesome.
Oh my God, that's like my childhood movie. I would die. I need to go.
Oh, it sounds so fun.
And so, you created a space, an immersive experience inspired by these movies. Like, how does it work writing these puzzles or like creating them?
So this one, we partnered very closely with the Universal team. So they, of course, with this movie and with the story of it, they were very hands-on. So it's their story that they had come up with. And then we were coming in and saying, okay, well, here's a way that you could put in a puzzle that would make sense at this moment in the story. And if this is your set, here's how you can work with that set. So we actually really like working within those limitations. Like there were some times where they were literally like, this wall has power. You can put something on this wall. This wall has no power. So no electronics on this wall. And so it's a very specific box that we were given of like, here's what we have. Now create a game that works and makes sense within this box. It was really fun.
Because we really love partnering with other people and, other companies. There are so many creative and cool companies in the themed entertainment space, and they are wildly creative and build the most incredible things. So it's just a dream for us to get to work with people like that and do what we do best, which is these games and interactions.
So were you guys like watching the movie like over and over again?
Yes. 100%. It's
Research.
So funny. Like since we've started this company, it's taken over our lives. And basically the only movies I watch anymore are ones that we're actively working on. Like we'll do, marketing campaigns for film and TV shows. And those are the films and TVs that I actually get to watch because I'm like, no, I need to watch this for work.
I mean, that's such inspiring stories that your passion turned into such a successful career. And now it's taken you like across the country and probably internationally, if not now, then soon. And like, it was a passion. And now you get to watch movies and go to Universal Studios and just have fun, be surrounded by creative artists. So many people dream of that.
It was so fun. I have to say, specifically working with the Universal team, they're like the most lovely, gracious people to work with. And they, gave us like tours. We went to like Diagon Alley and they're giving us all this insider information of what went into building Diagon Alley. It was such a dream.
So what was the transition from like creating your first Kickstarter game to working with Universal Studio? Like how many games did you guys make?
Yeah, it's
or
a
like,
massive
until
jump.
you saw actual success coming? Or was it like straight up from the first game you ever did?
It was from the first game because we got lucky enough to be licensed by Mattel. And then I also think because we both came out of the Hollywood industry, we had all of these contacts. So very early, we had, friends like that work in marketing at the CW say, hey, could you come do something? I'm doing a marketing campaign for Nancy Drew. Why don't you come in and do something for that? So it wasn't something that we fully planned. It just kind of happened. And then it was incredible because we had a big talk early on about, do we want to be just doing, what should our company be? Should it be just tabletop games? And that wasn't very interesting to us. Tabletop games we love, but just doing that felt, it didn't feel like we would be able to keep exploring. And that's what we really love. We really love exploring and learning. And so our company logline is new ways to play. And that's always it for us. Do we think of a new tabletop game that we haven't seen before? Do we, go to a theme park and think like, well, if we were here, there should be a game here. Like, why, when you're standing in line, why aren't you getting to play a game? Like, there's so many places in so many spaces and in so many moments in our lives where we could be playing games. And that's what we want to do. We want to make games for all of those places.
That's so beautiful.
And I love that. I mean, there's so many possibilities to what you can do. And I feel like that's kind of what Tay and I have tried doing with decorating. Obviously, decorating is a way smaller category, but if you like start to think of it, like we want to do commercial spaces, we could do a restaurant, we could do like a theme park. So it's like not narrowing.
Yeah, not putting yourself in a box.
Yeah.
And what you said about how you didn't plan on this, because when like these dream jobs that people have, like as you said, you didn't even know this was an option. Like when I was a kid, I didn't know like you could be inventing escape rooms. I mean, it didn't even exist, but did you plan on where you are? Like, how did we end up?
No. I mean, no.
I think it's kind of a theme of people who end up in like these amazing dream careers. It's not something you can plan for. And it happens. And
you just have to be passionate about what you're doing. And I feel like success comes with that for sure.
It's passion, talent, luck. It's like a mix of all these things that have to happen.
Hard work. I bet you guys were working so hard.
You blacked out for those 3 months. You don't even know.
Well, and I'm sure you guys feel this too, but people are like, oh, you design games. That must just be fun all the time. And of course it isn't, right? It is hard work. And a lot of the time it's just building decks, or Juliana does all of our emailing. Thank you so much.
Oh my God.
And there's budgets and there's just all of the things, but we still get to do so much that's fun. And it's so, I think that it's not so much about fun, it's about fulfillment.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, someone said this yesterday. It's like a tip of an iceberg. Like no one really sees what goes underneath,
right?
Which is cool to learn. And I would love to know a little bit about the behind the scenes and like what actually you guys are doing. I mean, same for Tay and I. We have to respond to emails. We have to talk to clients. We also have budgets. Like there's logistics
but we only show the exciting fun parts.
We only show the good, but not everything is super fun. I mean, Tay and I literally wanted to.
We just had a really hard project. And there's things like we're not going to talk about publicly because we're just going to post the fun stuff.
But not just that. Like I feel like we should bring, talk a little bit more about the behind the scenes, because I know not everything is just so easy and you're not always doing something like super fun. So what would that be like? Are you guys, I know you're answering emails.
Yeah, I do emails like anytime we have to like build out a budget, anything we're doing in Excel spreadsheets, that is not fun. Like trying to make budgets work within the constraints, because of course, like we are so passionate about what we do. And so we want whatever we're putting out there to be this really incredible experience. And then, sometimes you'll have clients just like cutting the budget. And you're like, how do we still make something that is satisfying and feels amazing, but is these lower budgets? So like that cutting, trying to make the numbers work, I think is definitely a laborious task.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I know you with some of this deck building, she is always wildly optimistic, I will say.
That is
she's
a
like,
perfect
I
name.
can just build out this deck, like it'll be fine, it shouldn't take too long. And then art takes time.
I feel like that's the exact dynamic between us. Like I'm the one who's like, Dani, we have a budget. The client said this much. And Dani's like, no, we just need to up the budget. We need to do this,
I'm
this,
like,
this,
no,
this.
we got this. Like, we can do this. Like, it's fine.
So I'm like the sense of reason. And Dani's the wild person who's just like, we need to get it done at whatever is necessary. And I'm like, but we have constraints, Dani.
I'm sure you two do this too, but we text each other constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. I feel like Juliana and I are just in continual communication.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we also, it's funny, take turns in being like the cheerleader or being the like, oh God, I'm beaten
Everything's
down by
crumbling.
this project. Yeah. And so it's really nice working with a partner where you can just be like, oh my gosh, I can't look at this anymore. Like, I feel like it's just terrible and I hate everything I've done on this, and just like pass it off to someone else. And she's like, no, actually, there's a lot of good here. Like, let's just, tweak this and tweak that. And I'm like, oh, that's so much better. You fixed it.
Yeah.
Or be the one to take notes. I think, being in an artistic field, but working for clients, there's a real balance to being artistic and being creative, and then also turning over something that the client wants. It can't just be what we want. Like
Yeah.
we
'Cause
are
you're
getting
hired,
paid by
yeah.
someone, and it has to be what they want. And so putting your ego aside and doing that on some days is easier than others. And luckily there's two of us. So whoever it is easier for that day gets to respond to the email or be on the phone call.
Yeah. And it's also great having someone to like double check where I'm like, okay, I've written the response, but like double check and let me know if you think it's okay
That's
to
literally
send.
us.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
we do
Ugh.
everything. Like, check my draft.
You guys are like, I feel so grateful. Like, to do this with a partner, it's so much easier and also better to have that support than just venturing out on your own. Oh, I'm just appreciating you so much right now. Yeah, that makes such a difference. Like because we physically build out our design projects, and like if one of my projects is really pissing me off, not going well, and I'm like, Dani, I can't handle this. Like, can you please like take the lead and figure out other things while I have a little meltdown? And it's like we have each other for those moments.
Yeah, which is great, honestly. I feel like I also design on my own without Tay.
And all those projects are so much worse without me.
And honestly, I'm like, maybe I should just bring Tay onto this project, please.
I mean, I'll say, like, even in our personal lives, there have been times where we're like, will you check this email that I'm sending, like, for my personal things? Because I love having her as this, like, second set of eyes that I trust.
Oh man, having a creative partner, you turn it. It's somewhat of like a marriage. Like,
Yes.
We're like soulmates.
Well, and having a business together, we opened a bank account together way earlier than I would ever open a bank account like with with a relationship.
Did you know that like a lot of CEO like co-founders, they go to therapy together? They go to couples therapy.
We've gone to couples therapy.
We might have to. Eventually, we've never fought yet, but
Tay and I haven't yet to like fight. We haven't had our first fight yet, but
we really blend, and we're in the most stressful
But
situations
I don't
together.
feel like you need to fight in order to go to therapy, though.
Yeah.
I think it really just, tell us
Helps
about
you
your
communicate
experience.
better, yeah.
Yeah, it was really great. I mean, it was honestly, there were some things in the business, but it was stemming from a more personal thing. And so we were like, you know what, this is impacting in all of the ways. So let's just go to therapy and kind of talk it through. And the therapist was great. And I really feel like it did kind of shift perspectives and allow us to move on in a really wonderful way.
Yeah, because sometimes, most people say don't partner up with anyone because there's been crazy experiences, but I
They
also
also say
think
don't work with friends.
Yeah. So I do feel like if you're lucky enough to find someone like you guys did or Tay and I did, sometimes you can do bigger and better things, but also like you need to be self-aware that there's also personal things in your friends, and
They're
so
two
a
different
lot
egos
goes into it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also having, for the two of us, like, we were friendly. Like, that's why she wasn't on the A team. Like, I didn't know her that well.
We were acquaintances.
Yeah, we were like friendly acquaintances where I'm like, oh, there's another girl who likes games. How cool. And then we had this idea and we just like couldn't stop texting each other about it. It was just nonstop. And so honestly, because the business took off in such a huge way and we've therefore spent so many hours together, like she's honestly, one of my newer friends. But when you add up the amount of hours that I've spent with her versus the hours I've spent with my other friends, like she is way more hours of friendship.
My God, yeah.
Tay and I have only known each other for 2 years,
but
which is
a
crazy.
lifetime.
She's like, we're married. Like, it does not feel like it's been 2 years.
Yeah, it's a lifetime when you work with someone.
Yeah, and like you said, every day, constant communication. And it's like we live together across the country with how much, like, I know her schedule like the back of my hand. And we're just always, like you said, sharing emails, like, sign off on this. What do you think?
Well, I have her schedule. Like we have a Google Calendar that has
Google
we need to do
that. Like her personal schedule, my personal schedule, and then all of the work things so that we can just see it all at once.
That's amazing. So I do have a question for our people listening or our audience that are interested in getting into this industry. What would be some tips you would give them, or I don't know, some like inspo?
I'm trying to think, because there's tabletop and there's immersive. I think any artistic industry, it's do the research.
And the research should be super fun for you, right? Like if this is something that you love and that you're passionate about, start with playing lots of tabletop games, going to lots of escape rooms, going to lots of theme parks, going to lots of immersive experiences. Like there's so many incredible things that have been created in the world. And then take the time afterwards to be like, okay, what did I really love about that? What didn't work for me in that? And how would I change it to maybe make it work for me better? And from there, you can, kind of spark a lot of really great ideas of things where you're like, oh, I wish this had happened. What if instead the experience went in that direction?
Yeah, I think it's do the research, start creating. And if this is really going to be what you do, I think some advice that we got early on was to do a 5-year plan. And that was incredible because we were like, we could do all the things. And then when we sat down and we did a 5-year plan, it wasn't all the things. It was like, okay, well, what are we going to do in the next 6 months? What are we going to try to do in the next year? And what are we going to try to do in 5 years? We actually accomplished everything we really wanted to do in 5 years in 1 year because we got that specificity and we had it written down and we were able to think about it and really come up with what you are trying to do and stick with it. So that's new ways to play for us. And we do turn down jobs that don't feel like new ways to play.
Well, I think, you've set the goals. Like goal setting to me is so important because if you don't know what you're aiming for, how are you going to get there? You're just aimlessly kind of like, I want to move forward. But when you have a goal, it's so much easier to get there faster. Right. You know what you're trying to hit.
And especially if you are hitting that, like, okay, in the next 6 months, in the next year, you are thinking like, what can I actually accomplish? Like in setting our goals for the 5-year, there were some things where it's like, well, we'd like to do this, but we'll have to have someone hire us to do that, blah, blah, blah. But also keeping in mind, what are the things that you yourself have in your control and you can execute on without waiting for someone else to say yes?
I would think with just talking to you guys and hearing how much goes behind creating your empire that you would have both majored or gotten masters in business, but like you figured it out. And that's just so cool. You don't need to go to school in these traditional ways to be successful, which is something that we ourselves have done in this industry. And it's just really cool to see other people do it as well.
Yeah, a lot of the other inventors that we meet, like the toy industry is lovely in that it throws inventor events where they have all the inventors that they work with come and they're like, here's what's coming out next. Here's, the sort of things we're looking for.
LA Toy Fair?
There's toy fairs as well, yeah. But so they have, with these inventor events, so many of the people that we meet are industrial designers, product designers. Like they have that very specific set of knowledge. But I think that it's worked for us with having this story and drama background where it's like, well, you want to create an experience first and foremost, like something that's really memorable. So even though we don't have that industrial design portion, like
the mechanical background.
Yeah, the mechanical background. Like there are very brilliant people at these companies who do, and we focus on creating really special, memorable experiences.
You have the heart of it.
Yeah.
And I also think you have to have common sense. Truly, though, because I feel like we've seen so many people start companies and they're like, okay, to start the company, we only have this much money, but we should spend it on an office space and assistants and all this. And they grow too big too fast. And so, you have to, and just, I don't know, just the common sense of like, how much money do we have and how should we spend it and who do we reach out to and how much time do we have? And it feels very, not easy to us, but practical. Mm-hmm. But I think that it is something that people should maybe think more about.
I think being lean at the start helped, like not getting a big office space and,
That's good advice.
All of that. Like just saying, what do we absolutely need to be able to do what we want to do?
So my question is, when you guys were creating the first escape room in a box, the werewolf edition, right? That's the first one.
Yeah.
What, was it made out of paper? Like, how did you guys even like make it functional for your friends when you guys were offering?
Yeah, you said your friends were helping, but they're not experienced.
Well,
in
they were
making, like-
playing.
Yeah,
they were
our
playing.
friends were testing it out.
But what was it made out of?
The dollar store.
Oh my!
I love that.
This is free promotion for the dollar
Yeah.
store.
Yeah, it was well, the box itself was a shoebox that we
love
cut to make, sort of a square, and
covered it with, then taped paper over it. Because there was originally, there's not anymore, but originally there was a puzzle on the box itself. So we like put paper, just taped paper to the box, and found, would go and be like, ooh, look at this. We can get this at the 99-cent store. What kind of cool puzzle could we make out of this?
So you guys are crafty. You guys
Yeah.
are like the DIY queen over here.
It
next to
sounds
me.
like you're DIY queens yourself. Reduce, reuse, recycle a shoebox. They're upcyclers. Oh my god.
we do have. I keep all of the extras from any games or experiences we make in these, and this is me, but I've created a database of like,
oh my god.
okay, so we have, 3 bags of buttons, and maybe that'll work for a puzzle one day, which it did.
Yeah,
It was useful
I
that
got so serious, which it did.
You have 3 bags of buttons because we made a button puzzle.
Yeah, but then we use the buttons for other puzzles also.
This is exactly like my boyfriend. He hoards any little thing, little scrap, and I'll be like, "Can you just throw these things out? I don't like the clutter." And anytime he gets to use something, he's like, "I used it. See, I used it."
Totally.
So would you say you're the more crafty one?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Yes. I can follow instructions if they are kid proof. Like the job that you would give to your 5-year-old, that's the job I can do.
That's literally me on our decorating projects, but with build outs with Tay. I tell her I have this idea. I'm like, I want huge Valentine's Day candies. And she's like, oh my God, I got you. I can make that in 2 minutes. I'm like, you're insane. I can't. Yeah.
It's good to have that balance of another thing. Partners are amazing.
Well, it's been amazing speaking to you guys, to you both. And we just want to hear a little bit about your next venture really quick.
So we have a couple things coming up that we can't fully talk about.
There's a lot of
Secret.
NDAs in this industry.
But I think that we can say we're working with a very exciting environmental activism organization that is trying to get people involved through games and play.
That's so cool.
We're really, really excited about it. It hasn't launched yet, but I think it's an incredible group of people. We're very honored to be involved.
And I think we can say we are working on a walking tour adventure. It's going to be like a puzzly mystery solving adventure where you're walking through a major US city, and we're doing it with a brand that we absolutely love. So we're really excited about that.
And this is an immersive experience.
Immersive experience, yeah. And then we are doing the Electric Forest Music Festival again this year. It'll be our 3rd year putting a puzzle quest into the music festival, which we love doing because we get to make gorgeous things that, pieces of art, but they're puzzles as well. And that's really fun.
I mean, those 3 things alone, you have a busy year.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's not
And
all.
that's, I'm
That's
sure.
not all.
Where's the best way where people can find you and see all of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis?
Sure. We have a website, which is www.wildoptimists.com. So it's plural. There's 2 of us, wildoptimists.com. We also have Instagram at the Wild Optimists, and we're pretty active on there. So you can see what we're up to. And then we have Twitter at Escape Room Inbox, because you can't put the A in, it was too long. So it's at Escape Room Inbox. And then we're on Facebook /Wild Optimists and Facebook /Escape Room in the Box. And that is all the ways to reach us.
But mostly our website and Instagram.
Okay. And then we'll also have things in the metadata, right?
And go on Amazon and buy our games.
Oh,
Or
obviously.
if you go to www.wildoptimist.com, there is a product tab where you can buy our
find all the games.
8 tabletop games that we have on the market right now. And obviously, any new fun things will go there as well.
Juliana and Ariel, thank you so much for being here. This has been amazing. You guys are so inspiring and inspiring for others, listening to this, and just creatives who want to get into this industry or just want to get inspiration.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, this has been such an absolute pleasure chatting with the 2 of you.
You guys are amazing accidental experts.
Yeah.
And now you're accidental expert podcasters. Well done.
We killed it.
This has been such a fun episode. I honestly am pretty impressed with us.
It's a great first episode. We
Yeah.
killed it.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this new journey. I'm excited for Accidental Experts. I'm excited to just show you guys everyone who we're going to be hanging out with. And I'm just excited overall to create this.
Yeah, every single week we're going to have new creators on here.
And also just remember to like, subscribe. And if you guys truly enjoy this content, like interacting with
Leave us a review, but
Yeah.
only if it's nice. Like, just shut up if it's bad.
No, but interacting with our platforms helps us a lot. Travel, because right now we're in LA and Tay lives in San Francisco. I live in Miami. So we're a traveling podcast.
Yeah, it's going to be so cool. Every like, we'll go to different cities
Mhm.
and we're going to get to experience new places and kind of be tourists too.
Yeah. So it really, really helps if you guys leave a review and if you guys like and subscribe. And yeah, oh my God. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much to our crew. Like, this is such a production and it's very professional. And
And thank you for thank you, Hatch Escapes, for letting us be inside this cage. We've been inside this cage for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
This is amazing. No, this has been super cool.
And now I want to do an escape room. Like, this is so cool and
What if we
massive.
start designing escape rooms?
In competition with our guests?
No, they don't like.
Oh, yeah, we built
design-
it out.
Yeah, because they don't build out.
They designed the
escape rooms.
game part of
Yeah.
it. We designed
We'd
the,
be like, oh, we need like
Oh
a
my
huge
God.
pencil. There's like massive pencils there, and I'm
we
obsessed with
love big pencils.
I have a massive pencil in my house,
A big
and I
Rubik's
want it.
Cube, too.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for watching.
This has been amazing and the best first episode I could dream of.
I know. I am so excited. And honestly, I'm truly grateful for everyone listening, for all of you guys and all your support. And I'm so excited for our next people
we'll
on
see you
here.
at the next one.
Yeah. Do you think they'll know if I steal a pencil?
Thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments.
If you're enjoying Accidental Experts, click over there to watch more episodes and don't forget to subscribe to follow the journey.